Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Sue, your East Oakland advocate. Well, it is dragon season. The Lunar New Year is the year of the dragon, and then I want to talk about the significance of the Chinese dragon versus the Western dragon. As we know, Western dragons are depicted as evil and mean and not good. They're they're uh, they're they have to be trained like in the cartoon training your dragon, but in the Western society dragons are evil. They are to be hunted, to be destroyed, because they cause mayhem in the natural, but in the the Chinese world, the dragon is a benevolent and caring animal that looks over its people. It protects its people, and how it's described is the dragon itself in the Chinese heritage is a symbol of good luck. Uh, it's an auspicious animal, and it demonstrates strength, health, and is actually the yin of the yin and yang, uh, the the good and evil. The yin and yang are actually um, two animals that are in balance with each other. One being evil, one being good. Yin is the dragon for good, and then yang, I should say, yang is the dragon, and yin is the tiger. The tiger represents evil. The dragon represents good. And so there's your yin and yang of good and evil. And a lot of people don't know that yin and yang, what animals they were. A lot of people thought it was just a battle of good and evil, but it's actually between the dragon and the tiger. And so one of the things early on, I also related to the dragon, and the reason why I related to it at a very young age is because of my martial arts training, and one of the things that was always told: we are training you to be dragons, to be the protectors of Chinatown, the protectors of the community. And so our martial arts training is uh, intense and very ferocious. The training that we receive, not the typical American type training where uh, you're, as Bruce Lee said, boards don't hit back, and neither does air. You striking air that's nothing means nothing. And so with my martial arts training that began in 1968, I actually became 8 years old, which was one of the age requirements to start martial arts training of the time, because the way that we trained was very different. We trained in the Hong Kong style. Hong Kong style is full contact. And so after a short period of learning how to use your hands, also one of the most basic techniques that we were taught in the beginning was our basic stance. The horse stance is one of the quickest and easiest, and it's like habit now. And then the next thing that we were trained to do was sticky hands. And so, what the sticky hands is, it's engaging with another student. And what we're doing, we're trying to gain an advantage, and our hands actually stay like this on other people. And at the same time, we're trying to force center line. And that's how we train in the beginning. And then after that, it becomes full contact. Once we get our basics in place, learning how to block and divert, the different hand movements, but also applying power, energy, and also backing off energy. And so during that time, I had 4 different Sifus training me over the course of 16 years. Yes, that was a long time. I was in training from 1968 all the way up till 1984. And the last Sifu that I was working with was not training me for the world here, but the world beyond. And so that's where I learned how to read chi, and also trust my chi energy, what I was reading, what I was receiving, and also uh, other skills that aren't um, granted in terms of skills. But that was a long time, and it made me one of the most dangerous fighters out there, not only just in martial arts and Wing Chun, but also I was street fighting in the streets of Oakland with other students that would jump me, and things would happen and engagements would happen. Uh, and usually it went bad for the other party. And very rarely, if I was hit, it it with the full contact training, it teaches you how to manage pain, managing pain. Because if you're struck, you're hit, being hit hurts. And if you're hit enough times and in the right places, you can be disabled. And one of my examples of American training versus my full contact training goes all the way back to 2015 with Sleepy. He was a homeless character. He was a black belt 4th Dan in Taekwondo, and so he was very well ranked. Good good fighter. I was talking to Sleepy about some of the different things, and he had said, I wished I had gone into Iron Fist training. And I looked at him and said, why? Why would you want to spend that much time on Iron Fist training? He said, because then my strikes would be harder, and I could hit better. My martial arts would be better. Well, I said, you don't need to do that. There's other ways to train and other methods that we could teach you. And one of the things, and here's an example of what happened back in 2015. We were actually jumped by 11 people, Sleepy, myself, and my dog, my Amstaff, Pandora. We were attacked by people illegally dumping garbage literally right next to my shelter. And they came in and they just started throwing trash all over our place and right next to us. And Mike and Sleepy and I got to work. And when we started there, okay, my dog took care of one person, and that person was screaming. He's on the ground because Pandora, my Amstaff, she was trained to deal with people. She was a trained attack dog. She was only 52 pounds, but 52 pounds can be very deadly and do a lot of damage. My friend Sleepy, with his Taekwondo, he was able to knock down a couple of people, but he was still he wasn't trained for taking on multiple opponents. In fact, they pretty much had him. The three that after he dropped 2, the 3 had him pretty much at a disadvantage, whereas I had already cleared my 5. I mean, I literally laid them out, and I was coming to join, help Sleepy out when they saw that their friends were, the 5 that I just laid out, were picking themselves up and running. The others picked themselves and started running too, and they were screaming all sorts of obscenities and we'll be back. We're going to come get you. We're going to get our street sweeper, which, if you know what a street sweeper is, that's not a broom. It's a shotgun with a drum and a whole lot of ammunition. But like I told them, I said, I'll be waiting for you because I got something for you too. If just you just turn the corner and I'm going to open up on you. So, but going back to my younger days, when I was in training in the Oakland Chinatown, it was through not through the conventional means, the different martial arts schools that were very common in Chinatown at the time, and it was also the time where Bruce Lee was a big name in the Oakland Chinatown, because I remember all the talk about the big fight in 1967, and all of us were on pins and needles because I was getting ready to go into martial arts training. So I didn't really understand the dynamics of what was going on, but it was interesting to hear two experts going at it to see and to settle their differences with their martial arts. And we all know how that ended up. Bruce Lee won. He beat the expert from the San Francisco Chinatown, who was one of those Wing Chun experts that wanted to keep the martial arts to only Chinese folks, which at the time I didn't have a problem with. And I thought it would be something very beneficial to keep it in the Chinese heritage, rather than what was common at the time was karate was all over the place. I mean, you couldn't go anywhere without seeing or tripping over a karate studio. Judo studio were very common during the 60s and 70s. Wing Chun, no. It wasn't until the early 70s with Bruce Lee showing something different. And that's what made a difference. Back in when I was being trained, one of my sifus called me the reluctant dragon, because I was learning, but I was very uh, unsure of using my skills at the time, and so my sifu called me, "Oh, RD, reluctant dragon." So that was one of the monikers that I went by, and back in the days, you probably, if you were around during the 70s, you probably remember the CB radios. Yeah, I had a CB radio, and in fact, that was the original cell phone of the day, because my parents could call me on the CB radio if they wanted to, but they never did. My crew, all the people that we had our little clique, we all had CB radios in our cars so that we could communicate and talk and everything. But on my actual CB handle was RD, Reluctant Dragon. But then by that time, it had become the Red Dragon, because now uh, um, I was moving up in the ranks, and I was very dangerous. I had already become a dragon, meaning that I had attained a certain level of uh, ferocity. I mean, I was there. I was unstoppable in class, but also I took a lot of beating, and my sifus, they had a lot of questions whether I was going to be worth the effort or not. And uh, I was a real smart aleck at the time. I had a smart mouth, and there were things that my sifus did to correct that smart mouth and my attitude, because what they were teaching me could make me so dangerous that I could be a real menace to the community if I chose. But fortunately, I chose wisely. Just like in Star Wars, Luke Skywalker choosing wisely to to be on the side of good, to finish his training, which is what I did. I finished all my training. I took the advice from the movie Star Wars: finish your training. But then I moved on from the Red Dragon. How I got the Red Dragon monitor is because I was always a happy person. And my Sifu's, oh, you're just a celebratory dragon, and that's the Chinese dragon. You're the dragon. It's a celebratory dragon. It's auspicious. It brings good luck, good health, good fortune. And so that's what my Sifus were calling me, the Red Dragon. And then in 1974, my grandfather passed away. He was responsible for me getting into that and him creating me. And after that, I had a lot of mental issues with my grandfather dying, because we were really good friends. My grandfather spent a lot of time with me uh, because I was such a handful, and my dad wasn't able to control me at all, because he is Buddhist, so he doesn't believe in corporal punishment or uh, spankings or anything. And in fact, it was rare that my dad even raised his voice. So my dad had no influence on me and zero control of me. My mother had a little bit of control, but still, that was pretty questionable. And so after my grandfather died in 1974, and that was on my birthday, so just a few days ago, back in 1974, he died on my birthday, and the call came in at 9 o'clock on my birthday morning. My mother was cooking me breakfast at the time when that call came in, and it just ruined everything. And that's how I became the Raging Dragon. And I was raging because I had lost my best friend, my grandfather. And it took me a long time, and my Sifus a very long time, to correct my attitude, to get it where I wasn't a question whether I was going to be controllable in society. And so, but they laid the foundation. They laid all of the important groundwork to make sure that I had the right attitude, the right training, and to be on the side of good, to be that red dragon, the auspicious good luck dragon for you, Oakland. That's why you need to elect me your next Oakland mayor. I am ferocious. I don't stop. And I am the best hope for Oakland to be restored to the Oakland that we all know and love. Thanks for joining me today. We'll be right back.